What's up, guys? I'm Chef Alycia Nicole, and we are making garlic breadsticks from none other than Olive Garden. So as I said, we're making Olive Garden breadsticks. We'll start with reviewing the ingredients. We've got warm water, just past lukewarm. We've got bread flour, all-purpose flour, yeast, sugar, softened butter, salt, and just for kicks, roasted clove of garlic. So let's get started. We're gonna put our warm water in a bowl so that we can bloom the yeast. And you just shake that over. And blooming the yeast just simply means activating it, waking it up, bringing it to life. So what you're gonna expect is a layer of foam developing on the surface. Something that you can do to help wake it up is add sugar. So we have 2 tablespoons of sugar. That was 1 1/4 teaspoons of yeast to about a little bit over a cup of warm to hot water. And you can help it out with a little stir. So we'll let this sit for 5 minutes, wait for the yeast to bloom, and then continue with the delicious Olive Garden breadsticks. So next step, we see a little foam on the surface there. The sugar is probably dissolved and we've got our yeast starting to bloom. While it does that, make sure you turn on your oven 400 degrees so that it's preheated and ready to go. All right, in your largest bowl, you're gonna mix the flour and the salt. So I'm gonna put just half of each of the flours because you can always add, but you can't take away. Flour, salt, mix. Add your butter. Might need a little help. It should be softened so that it's easy to combine. To this, we add the yeast mixture. Stir that well. Bread is always simply flour, a leavening, so yeast, or you can use a starter, and water, and most times a little bit of salt. This is a sweeter bread, so we add a little sugar, 1 to help out the yeast, and 2 to give a little sweetness. So we're gonna add some of the flour. And this is when you start to get a little messy. And you're gonna mix this until it starts pulling away from the sides of the bowl. You can do this in a mixer as well, just use your hook. So I'm gonna do 1 more addition before I turn it out on the table. Right now it's super sticky. Don't be afraid of getting a little flour on the counter because you're going on there next anyway. A useful tool is a scraper. So you're gonna use that and just help it on the table. Put a little flour down and help it under the counter. Don't waste. And you're just going to knead it together for several minutes, probably about 5 to 8 minutes. It's still sticky, so we add more flour. Probably gonna use all of it. The amount of flour you use is dependent on the weather and the humidity. You wanna make sure that the dough is soft still and smooth. We added a little more flour so that it's not sticking to the surface, but you don't want to put too much flour in it because then you're changing the recipe. So we have our dough ball. Now it's still got some more science here. It's still got some more fermentation to do. So we're going to leave this for 1.5 hours to rise. And what we're going to do is put it in this bowl, oiled so that it doesn't stick, but you don't want too much oil, so you take some paper towel and let it cover all of the surface of the bowl. And then you take that, put it inside. So what we're gonna do is cover this with plastic, let it rise for 1.5 hours, and prepare to roll it out so that we can season it with the garlic part of it and get it in the oven. All right, so as you can see, our dough has doubled in size. That's what we wanted. Now we're going to remove the plastic and roll out our sticks, put them on a sheet tray with parchment paper so that we can season it with the garlic butter and salt. Let's put a little flour down. You're gonna again use your scraper and dump it onto the counter surface. It's gonna be sticky after it rises a bit, so you don't want to add too much flour, but just a little bit so that it doesn't stick to the surface. So we get back into a ball. And we're gonna divide this into 12 equal parts, or as equal as we can. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, so from here, we're going to roll out the sticks. And be gentle because you want to keep the air in the sticks. I can feel the bubbles still. Okay, so we have a sheet tray with parchment paper on it. And we're just gonna put our breadsticks across, just like that. You want to leave enough space for them to rise again. Two trays of breadsticks. We have 11. Don't kill me for that. Your measurements aren't going to be perfect, and that's okay. So we're going to let this rise again. While they rise, melt some butter, and you can add the garlic clove, you can add garlic powder, garlic salt, and what we're going to do is take this, brush it on the surface. So we've let the breadsticks rise under towels for about an hour. As you can see, they've plumped up. That's exactly what we're looking for. Taking on the look of the Olive Garden breadsticks. And what we'll do is put these in a 400-degree oven for about 10 minutes. Check on them, make sure that they are just golden, just like you see them at the restaurant. All right, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we've taken the breadsticks out and we have our butter with a clove of roasted garlic, and we're just gonna brush the tops of the breadsticks with the butter garlic mixture. So second batch, I think it's more consistent with the color at Olive Garden. We melted about 2 tablespoons of butter with this just to melt and top the breadsticks. And then we're gonna use our salt. Don't be afraid to put a little extra on. Some of it will fall off when you pick it up, but you want to make sure that there's a little brightness with the salt. And there you have it. Let's show the bottom so you understand, you know, you don't want to, you've seen a lot of things where you burn the bottom and it looks fine on top. You want a consistent color, and it's also very soft, so it's it proofed enough, and we're in good shape. So the finished product, can you imagine? If you could smell what I smell, heavenly. They're light and fluffy with a little hint of garlic and plenty of butter. Okay guys, so give it a try. You will not regret it. Let me know how it goes. Do me a favor, share this video and also comment. Let me know what you think and let me know what you want me to cook next. Again, I'm Chef Alycia Nicole. You can find me at foodieengineer.com and on YouTube, Foodie Engineer, and I'll see you in the kitchen.